Hello, YouTube. So this is my second video. The first one was my 37-week pregnant update. So this is going to be about my birth story. We will just get right into it. So 37 weeks pregnant was my final update because I gave birth at 37 weeks pregnant, which was a huge shock to me. Everyone told me that being a first-time mom, you're usually going to be late. My doctor even said at my 37-week update, she didn't even check me to see if I was dilated. She said, oh, you have plenty of time. And if you don't give birth by 41 weeks, then we will induce you. I was totally prepared to be late and to have to be induced, but it didn't happen that way. So I'm just sitting here with my glass of wine. Just another disclaimer, like in my first video, I am filming this on my iPhone in my dining room that is not even finished right now. I don't have any fancy equipment. I am just here to talk about my birth. If you are about to give birth and you love these stories just like I did, then maybe you'll enjoy this. So, I work at an auto body shop, and I am the secretary in the office. I'm the only female that works there, so my whole pregnancy journey was quite interesting working there. The men I work with are great, but they're men. A lot of their wives have had kids, and that's great, but they were never pregnant and they never had a child, so you can't really relate unless you've actually been pregnant and had a child. So the whole pregnancy was very interesting, but it was a Friday and I just felt a little bit off, and I thought, this is my last month. I have a couple weeks. It's just gonna get really hard. And I didn't think much of it. I pack my lunch every single day because I try to eat healthy. And today I was not feeling it, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna go out and buy my lunch. So I did. I went out, I had lunch. I sat in the little restaurant by myself. I listened to YouTube, and I started to just feel different, just really different, and I didn't know what was going on, and I just thought, you know what, thank God it's Friday. I have the weekend to relax. I'll feel better on Monday. I get back to work. I put my purse on the floor, and I feel a pop, and then I feel water dripping down my legs. And I thought, oh my God. Oh, this is my cat. Hi, BB. And I felt a pop, and I thought, oh my God. And my water broke, and I thought, this is too early, and that wasn't enough water. That can't be it. Weird things happen when you're pregnant. I probably just peed myself. That was honestly what I thought in my head. I had a maxi dress on because pants were just no longer an option. I walk out into the shop and waddle to the bathroom with, water dripping down my legs. And I sat down and I felt a lot more. And then I got up and I felt a lot more. And at this point, it's leaking through my dress, onto the back, onto the front. And I thought, oh shit, I did not pee myself. Girlfriend, your water just broke. I literally walk out into the shop and I'm like pale-faced. And I said to the guys, I think my water just broke. You have never seen men scatter like these men scattered. I am telling you, they all, different direction. My boss was like, you better call your mom. I called my mom and she was like, honey, my water didn't break. They broke it for me. She said, you better call your doctor. So I called my doctor and she said, you need to go to the hospital right away. She said, once your water breaks, there is more risk for infection and it's 100% the start of labor. She said, so you need to go to the hospital. I called my husband. He didn't answer. He owns a restaurant. I called the restaurant. I said, babe, my water broke. He said, okay, I'll meet you at home. We rush home, pack a bag. I was so unprepared. I still had 3 weeks. I had nothing packed. I barely even had all the things I needed to be ready for the baby, like things that weren't even set up yet. The crib wasn't set up yet. Nothing was done. We get to the hospital, and the nurse says, I need your wet underwear. So I give her my underwear, and they test it to see if it's really amniotic fluid or not. It was. She said, okay, honey, get into a hospital gown. And she brought me into the birthing room, whatever it's called. I don't really know. Labor and delivery. I don't know. So I laid down. They hooked me up to all the monitors. They weighed me. They did a bunch of stuff, whatever they needed to do. And then they strapped 2 belts onto your stomach. One's to measure contractions, and the other one is to constantly measure the baby's heartbeat. I started to feel contractions at that point, and they hurt, but it wasn't, you're not screaming in agony like in the movies. In the beginning, let me preface. So time was going on. I was there for about 6 hours, just laboring. It wasn't bad. The worst part for me was that they wouldn't let me eat, and I was starving because I'm always starving, and they didn't let me eat. I got to eat popsicles though, so I probably ate my weight in popsicles that night. So at around 7 o'clock, the doctor came in and she said, are you planning on getting epidural? And I said, yes. I said, the pain isn't really that bad right now. She said, you should get it now because once they start to get really bad, it's really hard to give you an epidural because you got to be 1,000% still when they stick that needle in your spine. And let me tell you, it is no easy task to stay still when they're sticking a needle in your spine and you're having contractions. So I said, okay, I'll do it now. Everything was fine up until this point. My husband was in the room with me. My mom was in the room with me. My mother-in-law was at the hospital. Everything was going smooth. I'm like, oh, this is easy. When I was really scared when she came in to do the epidural. They make everyone leave the room. They told me that, people can pass out, they can distract you. It's just hospital policy. At my hospital, they did not let anybody in the room besides the doctor and the nurse. So they told me what to do. I had to sit up on the edge of the bed and round my spine like this. The nurse was in front of me. She was holding my hands. She was really sweet. I was terrified. It's nerve-wracking to get a needle put into your spine right before you give birth. She gave me the epidural. Great. I laid back down. A couple minutes went by. It just started to feel warm in my legs and my lower half. And I thought, okay, whatever. I could still feel the contractions a little bit. Then it started to get numb. And I thought, okay, it's doing what it's supposed to do. I'm supposed to feel numb. Then it felt like from my waist down, it felt like pins and needles. Like my leg, I fell asleep the wrong way and both of my legs were pins and needles. Every time you touched it, it was just that pins and needles feeling, like when your arm or your leg falls asleep, and it flipped me out. I mean, it flipped me out. I expected to feel nothing, completely numb, and that's not how it works. I can't really describe the feeling any other way besides pins and needles, and it was awful. I had a panic attack, and I started crying, and I begged the nurse to take it out, and she said, honey, I've been doing this for 25 years. She said, once that baby starts coming down, she said, you are going to be begging us to put it back in, and at that point, we won't be able to. She said, if you think this feeling is bad, you don't want to give birth without an epidural. So I literally just grinned and bear it, but I made my husband reposition me a bunch of times. They gave me this pillow thing that you put in between your legs. Would I get an epidural again? Yes. Because when I had her, it really wasn't painful. It really wasn't. I had an awful pregnancy. I was sick for 20 weeks. I had hyperemesis, and it was unbearable pain. So I thought, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm getting an epidural and whatever other drugs they want to give me, and that's what I'm doing. I had no intentions of a natural birth. We have modern medicine for a reason, and I was going to take advantage of it. So I did, and I'm happy with my choice, and I would do it again. So anyway, the nurse said, why don't you rest for a little bit? Why don't you guys try to sleep, try to take a nap? Yeah, right. Try to sleep when you're in labor. It ain't happening. Not for me anyway. It wasn't happening. We laid down. They shut all the lights off. They let us relax, blah, blah, blah. And I kept feeling something. I kept feeling, I said, she's moving down. I kept waking my husband up. I'm like, she's moving down. I called the nurse, And she's like, oh, you think she is? Like, we just gave you the Pitocin. It hasn't been that long. I don't know if she's progressed yet. I was like, can you please check? Because I'm feeling her. So she checked. Like, they check. They go in your vagina and check. She was like, oh, yeah, she's moved down. She's like, I'm going to put your legs in the stirrups, and I want you to give me a little push. So I did, and she was like, okay, stop. I'm going to get the doctor. And I was like, oh, my God, like, this is it. This is really happening. So my husband went out and got my mom, and she came in, and his mother, too. And the doctor came in. She was getting ready. She was, like, getting all scrubbed up or whatever they do. The nurse is the one that instructed me how to push and what to do. At this point, everything went by. Like, if you asked me how long it took, I would have said maybe 5 to 10 minutes at the most. But I pushed for about 25 minutes. And it went by like that. It's just an indescribable feeling. You are so focused and you are in the moment. And my nurses and doctor were so great. Like, I had, my husband and moms behind me giving me love and family support, and I had the doctors and nurses in front of me, like, literally cheering me on, like, push her out, she's coming, I can see her. So I felt like I was, like, so supported, and, like, it was a really, really great experience. I pushed for about 25 minutes, and she came out. She was sunny side up, so her face was facing up when she came out, which is not typical, but totally fine and safe. And it was just the craziest experience ever. They take her out and they wipe her for 2 seconds and they put her right on your chest for skin-to-skin contact. And my husband came over and he cut the cord, and probably the worst part of the birthing process for me was the stitches. My daughter was born at 12:10 a.m. on Saturday, April 6th, and she was 5 pounds, 11 ounces, and I needed 11 stitches. Like, girlfriend ripped me open, and she was tiny. It was brutal. I mean, getting the stitches, like, epidural or not, that shit hurts. It's no joke. Like, it really hurts, and that took a while for her to stitch me up. So it was pretty uncomfortable after that. Once they took the epidural out, I really started to feel everything that my body just went through. And my baby was on my chest, and she came out with these long nails, and she was just, like, scratching the hell out of me, and everyone's, like, in my face taking pictures, and finally I was like, enough. I was like, no more pictures, no more talking. If you guys want to stay, that's great, but you need to be quiet and leave me alone. Like, I was done at that point. And then after that, it was just recovery. They wheeled me into another room because you can't walk. The nurses helped me, like, rinse off and get a shower because I felt so disgusting. I was covered in blood and all the things that come out during birth. It's really gross. I know it's natural. Some people love it. It's beautiful. I think it's sick. I just wanted to take a shower and wrap my little baby up and hold her in my arms. And that's what we did. I did not let her go to the nursery overnight. She stayed in the room with me, and it's pretty much all history after that. That's my birth story. I don't want to make this video super long. I think I'm sorry, because I was planning on doing more updates, and then I wanted to do the birth story, like, as soon as she was born, but life with a newborn is, it's a lot. And also, like, I was like, oh, the next video I make, I'm gonna, like, do my makeup and have a nice outfit on, and I was like, you know what, it's not realistic for me. Like, I watch these videos and these women are, like, head to toe put together, like, the outfit, they have full face of makeup on, their hair is all done, and, like, girl, more power to you if you have the time, help, patience, money, energy to do all that. But realistically, I don't. Like, I'm tired as shit right now, and I just wanted to come on here and tell my story. I think the next video that I'm going to do is going to be a newborn essentials video. The things that I use every single day, cannot live without, have made a huge difference for me for having a baby. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know. It's I don't check comments on here as much as I do on my Instagram. My Instagram is not private. You don't have to follow me, but you can feel free to message me. I will link my Instagram. I'm gonna try to. I've never linked anything or put anything in the description box before. So I'll try to do that. If not, I'll literally come on here and spell it out next time. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a great night.